Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another edition of Fantasy Football Fever. It is Wednesday night, April 22nd, 2026. Wherever, whenever, however you're watching, thanks for making us part of your week. Of course, I am Tim McClellan, along with my two cohorts on this project. Of course, you know them and you love them. First, of course, the host of the Hooked On Sports podcast, Mr. John Flynn.
Howdy, 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 Tim. How you doing?
I am doing pretty good, getting pretty excited for tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And of course, we have our very faithful and trustworthy league commissioner, Mr. John Natali.
Yeah, yeah, doing pretty good here. We're less than 24 hours away from probably, out of all the shows we do, probably our second favorite show of the year, where
Oh,
we
yeah.
discuss draft night. And yeah, so much chatter has happened over the course of the past few days. And yeah, I actually have a couple of draft trade predictions, but I'll announce those later. And I'll give
Right.
you guys a little hint. Both my trade predictions involve our teams.
Ooh, so you think
Oh,
you're thinking that the Cowboys trade up for Styles
You
or
you
maybe
could you
something
could be
else?
you could be right. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll announce that. We'll announce
I
that when the
I
time
I,
comes.
what one thing I will say, I mean, because in past years, because I think, because you pretty much have a pretty good idea of how the draft is going to go, a bit like the first few picks. But like after the first pick, I honestly have no idea what's going to happen. Like what are the
Mhm.
Jets going to do at two? Or is Jeremiah Love going to go to Arizona or Tennessee? Is what about Sonny Styles? The wide receivers, the tackles. It is going to be a drama filled draft night in Pittsburgh, and what if the Steelers draft a quarterback, or if Aaron Rodgers announces that he's gonna come back for next season,
Mhm.
on that stage with the commissioner when the annual ritual of doing the commissioner on draft night happens.
Mm.
So
wow. We got so much to dive into right now. We'll be talking about our opinions for the draft, which of course starts tomorrow night. Be on ESPN, ABC. I believe NFL Network's going to cover it once again. So, yeah, we're getting ready. Less than 24 hours a day for the big first night of the 2026 draft. But before we get into all the draft stuff, there's a few hot topics going around, some stuff that needs to be discussed, some events that have happened over the course of the last time that we all got together. Very first big news here. It looks like Giants defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence is no longer a Giant. He has been traded to the Cincinnati Bengals, and with them, he is signing a 1 year, $28 million extension. So last year, he was able to record 31 tackles, 14 solo, 17 assisted, got one interception for 37 yards. So, is this uh, is this more about the Giants? Now, of course, you two guys are huge Giants fans, so
Mhm.
I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about this year. Is this more about the Giants losing him or the Bengals gaining him?
I think it was about the 2 weeks leading up to this because Dexter Lawrence the bombshell a bombshell dropped that he wasn't going to be part of the Giants offseason program, which because the Giants hired a new coach, they were able to start 2 weeks ahead of time. So the coach is being acclimated with the players, and he wasn't there, and like there was like a small glimmer of hope that they were gonna get to some agreement, but the idea is that Dexter Lawrence was dissatisfied with the direction of the team over the last 3 years, and particularly seeing players like Saquon Barkley, Xavier McKinney, both leave for greener pastures, among other players, and he was dissatisfied with that, and John Harbaugh made it firm that he wanted players who wanted to be Giants. And since Dexter Lawrence didn't want to be a Giant, it was time for him to go. And the team that seriously needed a defensive player in the wake of losing Trey Hendrickson, they get one in Dexter Lawrence. But it comes with the caveat for the Bengals. It comes with the cost of losing the first round pick and the necessary move to extend Dexter Lawrence. Now Lawrence was already under contract through the end of not this upcoming season, the following season. So this takes him to the end of the 2028 season.
All right. Natalia, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm actually. I was taken. I was shocked. I was shocked at first, but yeah, looking back, yeah, I absolutely love this trade. Yeah, the Giants need some upgrades on defense, and yeah, it looks like they might get a replacement that's just like Dexter Lawrence. What was his name? Dexter Reed or something that they're going to sign after the draft.
DJ Reader, so former Lions defensive tackle, that he's likely going to sign a contract with the Giants after the draft. So it doesn't count against the comp formula. It's because teams get awarded compensatory picks based upon the amount of free agents they let go or resign and all that. I think that's what's gonna transpire for the Giants next. But now you have the Giants. So you have to also look at two things. One, the Giants now have the 5th and the 10th overall picks in the drafts. So they're in a prime position to possibly dictate the terms of the draft because if you look at the NFC East, you have the three NFC East rivals that missed the playoffs last year. The Giants had picks 5 and 10. Washington has 7, and Dallas has 12 and 20. That extra first round pick this year was sent over from Green Bay following the trade of Micah Parsons last year. I feel like the biggest source of drama tomorrow night is going to be what happens. The maneuvers the 3 NFC East teams that missed the playoffs last year make.
Oh yeah, I could potentially see two or three of these teams in this division making the playoffs. I think it's very possible. It just depends on how well they do in this draft. I think Dallas. If everything goes well, I think Dallas and the Giants are both dark horses to potentially return to the playoffs this coming season.
I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, said that the goal for the Cowboys this offseason is to have me pick them to my preseason picks to win the NFC East. But as Tim will mention on his next hot topic, it's not necessarily that easy.
All right.
No, not really. It's not that easy. Before we get there, according to ESPN, it looks like the Giants' draft needs will be a wide receiver, an offensive guard, a corner, defensive tackle, and offensive tackle.
Yeah, I would also add linebacker as well because the one knack I've had about the positional values stuff the last the last dozen years is how devalued the linebacker position is because the linebacker is supposed to be the heart and soul of your defense. He's supposed to go in and help go in and help at the line of scrimmage, help in coverage. And like linebacker is like if he was an offensive player, he's like your quarterback. So.
All right. So, staying in our division,
Yeah.
he did mention the Cowboys. Uh, Cowboys decided to give Brandon Aubrey his money. Brandon Aubrey recently signed a 4-year, $28 million contract extension with $20 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid kicker in NFL history. And last year, he went 36 of 42 on his field goals for a percentage of 85.7. He made 11 out of 17 field goals of 50 yards or more, including at least maybe two or three of us more than 60 yards. So he's definitely got the leg in it. So
Oh yeah.
and he went 47 of 48 on his extra points. So got him locked up for another 4 years. Surefire kicker right there. If the NFL's ever seen one.
Oh yeah. That's Jerry Jones' best move this offseason.
Well, speaking of moves, there actually is no movement in the talks between the Cowboys and their wide receiver George Pickens, who of course last year had the best statistical season of his career. I mean, really filling in those few weeks when CeeDee Lamb was out with an injury. Got 1,000 yards receiving, scored a few touchdowns. Uh, yeah, he. Oh yeah, I got it right here. 93 receptions out of 137 targets, 1,429 receiving yards, with an average of 15.4 yards per catch and 9 touchdowns and only 4 fumbles there. So, so where I mean, where does this thing go? I mean, right now it seems like it's kind of slowly sinking into some quicksand, in my opinion. There may not be anything done. And Natalia, you were saying before we started our show that there's been reports that there's people who might be surprised if George Pickens plays this year, either for the Cowboys or for another team.
Yeah. I was watching NFL Live earlier today, and Ryan Clark, one of the analysts, he said he'd be shocked if George Pickens plays at all for Dallas this season. Because so far nothing's been happening.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Flynn. Seems like these two are pretty much at a stalemate.
Yeah, I mean, I think George Pickett. I think the problem with the roster construction, is because, and the Cincinnati Bengals are learning this the hard way, is that you can't give two receivers elite money and expect to go and win championships. So that's what the Cowboys are faced with right now. So, I mean, I think if the Cowboys are going to win the division, and even with Philadelphia's Jalen Hurts problem right now, which by the way is a real problem. So in Philadelphia, and by the way, they have to beef up their offensive line. I mean, because I have the Eagles going offensive tackle with their first round pick. So I mean, even with Philly's quarterback situation, it's not a guarantee right now that that the Cowboys would be the best team in the NFC East. I mean, you never know what the Giants are going to come up with Harbaugh. So it's it's gonna be a wait and see, obviously a wait and see thing, but
Yeah.
this has to feel pretty discouraging if you are a fan of the Cowboys.
Yeah, especially with the great season George Pickens had last year. As far as, but of course, the most main focus for the Cowboys for this draft is hopefully more defensive heavy. Their draft needs, according to ESPN, includes a corner, a safety, a linebacker, edge rusher, and they say a tight end. But I'm not too strong about a tight end. I'm more focused on defense right here because last year even though the Cowboys had the second best offense in the league, they also had the second worst defense in the league. So it was kind of a double-edged sword with the Cowboys, with them finishing with a record of 7-9-1, finishing second in the NFC East and missing out on last year's playoffs. Uh, let's go to let's stay in the division once again. Philadelphia, with the AJ Brown situation going on, will he be traded? If so, where to? A lot of people are thinking that he could be a good fit with the New England Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Think there has been talks going on between those two. I'm not sure. Flynn, what do you know about that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there is an impasse on whether AJ Brown believes and saying that he can win another championship with the Philadelphia Eagles. So I mean, won one 2 years ago with the high level play of Jalen Hurts, but I think after the season he had last year, and with Jalen Hurts under what's now going to be an albatross of a contract, now you gotta go out and I gotta go, and maybe AJ Brown's decrease in production the last year or two related to the struggles of the quarterback, because I think that's probably something to note there, and he might eventually want out of Philadelphia, and I think a team that really needs a difference making wide receiver right now is the New England Patriots, because if you look at the Patriots run to the Super Bowl last year, it felt so fluky, honestly, because of what, because of how beneficial it was to them with facing weak offensive lines and a backup quarterback in the AFC Championship game and all that. But who knows if this Patriots roster is good enough to make the playoffs? I mean, not to mention all of the field drama surrounding Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini, but the Patriots really need to find a way to acquire AJ Brown, because he's the type of receiver that can stretch the offense horizontally. I think he plays really well into Drake May's strengths, and makes it harder to come up with a good game plan against the Drake May Josh McDaniels offense.
So, let's see a question here. How do I put this question? Who is more likely? What's more likely to happen? AJ Brown staying with the Eagles or George Pickens staying with the Cowboys? Uh,
Ooh, this one's tricky. I
I
mean,
I, I,
uh,
I, I, w- I would say George Pickens, because it
hmm,
feels imminent that said that AJ Brown is going to get traded to the Patriots. And it would likely be a post June 1st type of trade, because the way the salary cap situation will work, it would be much easier for the Eagles to get through the season
yeah,
if that were the case.
mhm.
yeah. I'm leaning towards Pickens too, but so also for the reason that in my draft board I have the Eagles taking a wide receiver. So with that note, I do see the trade happening too.
Interesting.
Ooh.
We'll see what receiver you have for
Yeah,
the Philadelphia Eagles.
yeah. I don't remember who I picked. I'd have to go back to the chat to see. I'll check that a little later.
Well, Eagles not really much of a draft need as far as Philly is concerned. Their needs include an edge rusher, a tight end, offensive tackle, a linebacker, and a safety. So,
Hmm. No wide
hmm,
receiver listed. Interesting.
no, not wide receiver is not really on the top of their draft needs list here. But
Mhm. Yeah, I mean that list probably came out though prior to the AJ Brown conundrum there. I think that was probably listed prior.
but I am Well, for the third year in a row, I am very interested to see what the great Howie Roseman is going to do this year.
Mm.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
a
there's,
very
I mean that there, I mean, I mean, you're gonna know why this is called. The draft is also called the Howie Roseman Invitational.
Mm.
that's true. Last couple of years, he has nailed it. He has nailed it last year. He nailed it the year before. So we'll be interesting to see what old Howie does this year. Speaking of, you mentioned Jalen Hurts and you mentioned quarterbacks. There is a quarterback battle in Minnesota with the Vikings, or as our good friend Lucas calls them,
The purple
the
people eaters.
no, he calls them the reincarnate the what is it I gotta get with him. He gives him this weird name. I
Mm,
think it's the reincarnation of
mm.
Satan or something
Mm.
I don't know.
I,
Uh,
I mean, I mean, the Purple People Eaters were the Vikings D line of the '60s and
Ah,
yeah,
heck
they
yes.
'70s.
they were really really tough guys. But anyway, in Minnesota, there seems like there's going to be a quarterback battle between the young quarterback J.J. McCarthy and the veteran who they just acquired this past offseason, Kyler Murray. Uh, and it looks like I read somewhere, I forgot to write it down or something, but Justin Jefferson was giving his thoughts on this situation. Flynn, how do you see it?
I mean, I mean, I think some of it might have to do with with Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah not no longer being there, but it seems like the Vikings organization is down on JJ McCarthy, and it's a question of whether that criticism is fair or not, because he really didn't have. And he didn't play any snaps in 2024 because of of that ACL of that meniscus injury he suffered in 2024, and is that and like him in year two, that the pressure of getting the Vikings back to the playoffs, and after a 14-win season the year before, and it seemed like Justin Jefferson, I think, was trying to infer that his production dipped last year, because of JJ McCarthy. So I mean, because you know, so, I mean, how dominant Justin Jefferson is, and all of that, but.
Yeah.
But he took a massive step back in production last year. So, is it someone that with Kyler Murray to be that can a situation where the former Arizona Cardinals quarterback can resuscitate his career with Kevin O'Connell, just like what happened with Sam Darnold 2 years ago. So I think that's what he's talking about there. So
Let's see. Well, it's going to be an interesting battle here the as far as the Vikings draft needs. They're looking at safety, center, wide receiver, offensive guard, and linebacker. Finished third in the NFC North last year with a record of 9-8. Speaking of quarterbacks, Indianapolis looks like Daniel Jones is rehabbing. I guess that's a good thing. Hopefully, he can get back to what he was before that big injury took place last year. It seemed like
yeah.
Colts were on a hot streak. Then he got hurt, and then they saw went plummeted down there. Of course, he recently signed a 2-year, $88 million extension. So, what's the word in Indy?
Yeah, I think I think there are multiple fronts, that the Colts are absolutely worried about, in terms of fantasy, in terms of offense. Number one, Daniel Jones coming off of the Achilles injury just 5 months ago, and that now he's back with the team. I mean, you got to commend him on all of that, because but the fact of the matter is, so that with these devastating injuries like an ACL or Achilles or anything like that, it might not. You might be close to peak form the following season. So I'm going with caution there. And then the other big piece from Indianapolis is that Alec Pierce underwent surgery on his ankle, and he's going to wind up missing 3 months of action. So that means Pierce won't be out or won't be participating in or the OTAs coming up at the mid to late next month, and then of course the mandatory mini camp in June. Those are things that have to be noted here for the Colts there. So it's good. I mean, so far I think it's nothing really to sneeze at. But if we're coming into training camp and those two cats are not in the place where they need to be, then it's going to point to some problems down the road next season for the entirety of the Indianapolis Colts.
And ESPN lists their draft needs with edge rusher, wide receiver, linebacker, safety, and corner. So it'll be interesting to see. Our buddy here, Vampire Luke, wants to chime in on this one. JJ McCarthy is a bum.
Hmm. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go that far because it was not. I mean, he wasn't dealt the best situation of last year because of his physical health. So I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah. He corrected me. This is what Lucas calls him: the purple incarnation of Satan.
Ah,
That's Lucas's line. I'm glad Luke reminded me of that. So thanks for hanging in there, Luke. Of course, as some of you may know, Vampire Luke, our good friend from across the Atlantic Ocean, will soon be joining our fantasy league
that's
because
right.
our friend Natalie is going to expand to, what is it going to be now? 12 teams?
12 teams. Mm-hmm.
12 teams.
Yeah, so sometime in May, I'll be reactivating that draft. Probably around the schedule release.
Yeah,
Around the schedule release, right?
Which by the way, should be noted that our next two episodes are going to be the next episode. We don't have it up right now. It's going to be next Tuesday, the
Mm-hmm.
28th, I believe. And that'll be a post draft recap, and then whatever night the NFL schedule is officially released, in formal. The plan is to go up that night as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it will be Wednesday, May 13th, but we'll get an official announcement from the league when that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. And I'm thinking of activating the drive live on air for the schedule release show.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So it was for Monday, April 27th, but we're going to reschedule it for April 28th.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's our plan for our next show. We'll recap the draft, see who are the big winners, who are the big losers, and all that good stuff. So be on the lookout for that one. We have another piece of news here. Looks like in Los Angeles with the Rams, Puka Nacua, one of the top two wide receivers in the league, looks like he's returning after.
Yeah. So if you can hear me, Natalia, I'll finish that off. So. Looks like he's coming. He's back with the team. Sean McVay talked to the press this week. Talk to the press about that, and basically said that he's doing great, that he's taking care, he's done work in the off season, and now the drive is on for the Rams to try and win a championship,
Mm-hmm.
with the Super Bowl being in LA this season.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully once again it will be another successful year And another successful time that I will be saying those beautiful words, Nakua Matata.
What a wonderful phrase.
Exactly, exactly. Um, that's pretty much all I have on my notes here.
Yeah, in Natalia, you can hear me, right?
Yep, you coming in loud and clear.
Yeah, you're sounding good. Is there anything that may have overlooked or
Let's see. You just did the Nakua
Um,
thing. I'm just gonna go to NFL.com just to
Anyway,
do a scroll through here to see if there is
hang on one
anything.
second. I mean, let's get home first, and then I can
Yeah.
set up
The
the
Raiders
rest
are
of my
listening to
shop
Raiders
there.
are listening to offers for the number one pick, but they're likely to stay.
right? I would think so.
Let's see.
I was going to suggest talking about the Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini situation, but I believe that can be talked about somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just going through the news the news here, see if there's anything. Apparently,
Yeah.
Justin Fields wants to be on the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, they got Justin Fields, so
Yeah,
we'll be learning from Patrick Mahomes.
yeah.
Doesn't look like he may be much of a.
Oh, right. That's right. Never mind. I misread the headline. I forgot he was already on there. I read it as Caleb Williams wants to go to the Chiefs. I misread the headline.
Caleb Williams wants to go to the
No.
Chiefs.
That wasn't the said. I misread it that
Oh,
way. I read the headline wrong.
oh,
I didn't
okay.
realize he was already there. I just read the headline wrong. Let's see.
Let's see.
Williams. Let's see. I think you mentioned it already, but the Ravens defensive tackle Matakubi had neck surgery. I think that was said already.
I don't think we talked about him.
Uh, I do see something about that because he could resume playing in 2026, but he's going to be out for part of the year.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, speaking of,
Jimmy Garoppolo might be retiring. He's considering retirement.
I think I heard about that on my local sports station about last week. So there might be a possibility of Jimmy G calling it quits.
Yeah.
And
And and then I mean this is for our Giants fans. The Giants are likely to stick with Kayvon Thibodeau for this season.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Sir.
Well, at least I'm relieved that I can enjoy Thibodeau for one more year.
All right. Yeah.
Or unless they trade him during for the deadline.
Right. So let's see what happens right here. So speaking of the Ravens, their needs are corner, safety, defensive tackle, offensive guard, and wide receiver. But I'm kind of starting to think that I'm kind of leaning toward the fact that this could be Lamar Jackson's last stand.
Interesting.
I'm not sure, but I need to take a look back and see what his current contract status is. See if I can look that up somewhere. Let's see if we can look up here. Okay, he restructured his contract to free up nearly $40 million in cap space, reducing his 2026 cap hit to 34.54. This reconstruction pushes his 2027 cap hit to over 84 million, creating an urgent need for a long-term extension to manage future cap strain, though none has been finalized. So right now he's in going into his fourth year of his $5 million $260 million extension, which signed back in 2023. So they've not finalized a new deal, but both sides do agree that they want to keep him in Baltimore. So we'll just see what happens right there. I guess while Flynn is getting things set up on his end here, I guess we can go ahead and talk about the big event that starts tomorrow night.
Cool.
That's pretty good. Let me go ahead and put that up there. We're talking about the NFL draft, which of course this year takes place in, if I'm not mistaken, it's Pittsburgh.
Correct.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Steel City.
Yeah.
Where they're still wondering, of course, where people are probably saying, should he stay or should he go? Just like the old song says. So, Flynn is back in here. He's getting back here. So we were kind of going over. I was looking over a few lists over the last couple of days, and after some serious negotiations and some serious things, I have. Well, I'm not actually going through an entire 7 rounds. I'm not going through entire first round picks. For time constraints, I'm going to reveal my 10 picks here. Now, I should say these are my 10 picks if there were no trades made. Now, there is a possibility there will be some trades made during the first round, but mine are without any trades. So, so I guess I'll go ahead and get started on this one here. The Las Vegas Raiders have the number 1 pick, and I'm pretty much going with the consensus of pretty much everyone in America, all the sports experts, the draft experts. They're saying Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback from Indiana, will be heading to Las Vegas. Then after that one, I've got the New York Giants at number 2. I see them taking Arvell Reese, a linebacker and edge rusher from Ohio State. I was thinking either coming down to either Reese or or David Bailey from Texas Tech. But he's a defender that can build a good defensive scheme around here. Some people say that Bailey might be a little bit overrated for that particular position, but I won't digress on that. Number 3, the Arizona Cardinals with number 3 pick, Francis Moigoa. I think that's how you pronounce it. The offensive tackle from the University of Miami. According to ESPN, protecting quarterback has been a constant issue. So they're going to have to get an offensive tackle so they can protect the quarterback. They signed Elijah Wilkinson on the offseason, but they need to go ahead for safety and just for safekeeping, get an offensive tackle in that draft. Number 4, the other big edge rusher that is available. I've got David Bailey, edge rusher from Texas Tech, going to the Titans. Bailey's first step is lethal. He got 14.5 sacks, 23 tackles for a loss last season with the Red Raiders. So you have to choose between finding explosive players for Cam Ward, but I guess they'll focus on an edge rusher here. I actually have 2 Buckeyes going with the next 2 picks. First, for your New York Football Giants, I have Sonny Styles going, linebacker, so they can hopefully beef up that Giants defense, and maybe a little bit of help at the wide receiver spot for Cleveland, Ohio State. Cleveland, I see them taking the wide receiver Carnell Tate. Let me see the notes on him. Cleveland's two major needs are, of course, the his offensive tackle and wide receiver. So they're kind of thinking receiver first. Maybe he could help out Jerry Judy and Harold Fannin Jr., who was last year's third round revelation. Harold Fannin Jr. could be one of the rising tight ends in the league. So he could be a pretty good route runner right there with the Cleveland Browns here. With a 7 pick, I've got the Washington Commanders taking Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. They need help everywhere, pretty much everywhere. And Jeremiah Love could really boost their running game. They say he ran for 1,372 yards, 18 touchdowns last year, 39 runs of 10 or more yards, which is fourth most in the FBS. So Jaden Daniels and Jeremiah Love could make a nice combination right there for the Commanders. And with the number 8 pick, I have the New Orleans Saints taking LSU cornerback Mansour Delane. He transferred from West Virginia. He's a polished technician who can play press man. He's good in zone coverage, and Saints need a little help with their defense, especially with their secondary. So Delane could be a viable option for the Saints. The Giants have the 9th pick as well. They have number 5 and number 9. And without any, and I've got a, let's see here. What I got ahead. Oh, yeah. I got Caleb Downs in safety, so Giants can bolster up a defense with Caleb Downs from the Ohio State University. And then finally, with the number 10 pick on my list here, I've got the Miami Dolphins taking offensive tackle Spencer Fano from Utah. So they need to bolster their offensive line quite well, even though Tua Tagovailoa is no longer with them. Hey Flynn, could you remind me who the Dolphins have right now as their projected starter?
I think it's Malik Willis, the former Packers quarterback who's now who signed a 3-year, $67 million contract with the Dolphins at the start of free agency of the tampering period.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, in the last few years, that offensive line really hasn't been very protective of the quarterback at all. So it just depends on if he can really do a good job and try to bolster that offensive line to protect Willis in that situation. So yes, that's my top 10 draft picks to start round 1 to start this whole thing. So who would like to give their list next?
Yeah, I guess I can go to mine unless you want to hear my hypothetical if it were to happen. My bold trade predictions first. I don't know which one you guys want to hear.
I mean, do that first.
Yeah.
All right, I'm saying hypothetical if they were to happen. I'll do Tim's first. My first trade that I think could happen is the Dallas Cowboys will trade up to number 3. And instead of the Cardinals picking there, it'll be the Cowboys. And with that, your Dallas Cowboys will select Sonny Styles at linebacker.
Oh yes,
And
yes,
then
yes.
in return, they give up their well, obviously in return, the Cardinals would move down to where the Cowboys originally were. Plus, they give up their other first round pick.
Number 20.
Number 20.
Yeah. And as far as the other trade, it's going to involve the New York Giants, but they're not going to trade up. They're going to trade down. And I have them trading with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Huh.
Yeah. The Chiefs are going to panic. They're going to want a wide receiver because I know that the Saints, because hear me out here. The Saints are ahead of them. The Eagles are ahead of them. And wait, who else is ahead of them? Let me see. And the Browns. And the Commanders. I don't think the Browns are going to move. I don't think the Commanders are going to move. I don't think the Eagles are going to move. Certainly, the Raiders are obviously not moving. The Jets are obviously not moving.
Said the Eagles have the 23rd pick. Are you talking about the Arizona Cardinals?
Hold on. No, well, I already have the Cardinals. Wait a minute. Sorry, Browns, Commanders, and Saints.
Okay,
Saints. I bet. Yeah, Saints are not moving. Commanders are not moving. Browns are not moving. The Raiders are certainly not moving. The Jets are certainly not moving. And the Cardinals already moved. So that means either the Titans would have to move or the Giants would have to move. And I don't see the Titans moving. So with that said, that means their only chance is the Giants. And but the Chiefs are in panic mode, I think. They're gonna be concerned that the wide receiver is gonna go off the board early because the Saints are in need of one, the Browns are in need of one. So, with that said, I think the Chiefs will trade up and take the best wide receiver off the board in either Malik Lemon or Cornell Tate, one or the other.
Yeah.
And the Giants will then move down to number 9 and keep their number 10 and also get their 29th pick, meaning the Giants will have 3 picks in the first round.
Wow.
So those are my 2 bold trades.
Hmm. Yeah,
I think the Chiefs are in panic mode. They want to get a wide receiver right away.
It kind of makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah, because they want to get somebody. Because Rashid Rice cannot stay out of trouble. Just in case he gets in trouble again, they have their wide receiver.
Right.
But yeah, as far as my draft board goes, I'll just go through it pretty quickly. I mean, one through 7, Flynn and I had exactly the same. So I'm just gonna rapid fire on that one. Fernando Mendoza at 1, Alvaro Reese at 2, David Bailey at 3, Jeremiah Love at 4, Caleb Downs at 5, Cornell Tate goes to the Browns at 6, Commanders, Sonny Styles at 7. And then the Saints, I actually have them taking they're getting the next edge in Reuben Bain Jr. Without the trades, I actually have somehow I still have the Chiefs getting a wide receiver. I'm not sure how that happened, but I have them taking Malik Lemon. And the Giants' second pick, I have them upgrading their offensive line and getting Francis Managoa. And then number 11, I think that the Dolphins are going to need a replacement at the wide receiver front for Jalen Waddle. So I have them taking Jordan Tyson. And as far as the real pick without the drafts, I have Tim's Dallas Cowboys taking Mansour Delane, their cornerback.
Well, yeah, we could need a quarter too.
And then the next offensive line will go off the board in Spencer Fano to the Rams. And then initially I was going to take the Rams with a tight end, but even though they don't have Isaiah Likely anymore, Mark Andrews is probably nearing the end. So as much as I was tempted to give them the tight end, I gave them a cornerback instead. I gave them Drummond McCoy, giving the tight end slot to actually the Bucks. I think they need one to pair up with Caden Otten, so I gave them Kenyon Sadiq. Okay, with the Jets' second pick, I have them taking Keldrick Falk. Lions, I have them taking an offensive tackle in Monroe Freeling. The Vikings are going to take Peter Woods, an offensive tackle. The Panthers are going to go safety here with Dylan Thierman. And then for your Dallas Cowboys again, I have them bolstering their offensive line and taking Caleb Lamu, OT from Utah.
Yeah, I'm
and then,
one of those.
And then for the Steelers, okay, this name is really hard to say. Ola Vega Ayun.
So the guard you're talking about, yeah. So it's Vega Ioane. So Alvia Vega Ioane. That's the name.
And then as far as number 22, I believe Flynn and I were the same on this one as well. Caden McDonald for the Chargers. And then number 23, this is where the A.J. Brown thing took place. So with A.J. Brown potentially out, they have a new wide receiver in Omar Cooper Jr. And then number 24, Caden Proctor is going to go to the Browns. And then I have the Bears selecting the edge, Akeem Mesidor. And then the final pick that Flynn and I were the same on, Casey Conception, wide receiver for the Bills. And then I have the 49ers taking Blake Miller. And then the Texans are going to take Christian Miller. I have the Chiefs taking Max Ahanahor. And then the Dolphins are going to take Colton Hood. And then I guess since the Patriots are going to need a new wide receiver, so I have them taking Denzel Boston, and closing out with the Seahawks, the final edge, Zion Young.
Okay, so that's Natalie's list. So I'm gonna pull up mine right now. I just want to make sure that before I pull it up, it's the right version. The right version. I mean, it's all the same. Just want to make sure I got the right formatting there. Yeah, here we go.
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay, friends. So this was this is my first round mock that I shared on Hooked on Sports this morning. So I have Fernando Mendoza obviously going to the Raiders. I just think that the Jets would be wouldn't be dumb enough to pass up on Arvell Reese, but that's what I think they're going to do. I have David Bailey going to Arizona at 3, Jeremiah Love to Tennessee at 4. I think that, and similar to what Natalie had, I have the Caleb Downs going to the Giants, Carnell Tate staying in State. Sonny Styles, the new shiny toy for Dan Quinn on his defense, but we'll see how long that lasts because Dan Quinn is going into the season on the hot seat. I have Mekhi Lemon going to the New Orleans Saints with pick number 8. I have the Chiefs trusting offensive line right away by drafting Spencer Fano from Utah. I have the Giants going Jordan Tyson at 10, and then I have back-to-back corners at 11 and 12 because Mansour Delane to the Dolphins and Jermon McCoy to Dallas at 12, and then I have the Rams going tackle at 13 with Francis Mariota, and then Baltimore taking Ioane at 14. Tampa, Ruben Bain Jr. at 15. Denzel Boston visited the Jets facilities a couple of weeks ago. I think that'll be their second first-round pick at 16. I think I have the Lions drafting Caden Proctor. The worst kept secret I've heard about the draft is that Minnesota is going to take Dylan Thieneman with the 18th pick, the safety out of Oregon. I have Carolina taking Kenyon Sadiq, a tight end out of Oregon at 19. Because with that, Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech, the linebacker there going to Dallas. So the Cowboys get two week 1 starters on their defense. tomorrow night, according to my mock draft. And then I have Pittsburgh taking Omar Cooper Jr. with pick 21. I have Caden McDonald, the best interior defensive lineman in this year's draft. I have him going to the Chargers at 22. And then for then for pick 23, I have the Philadelphia Eagles selecting Max Ionachor. That's Ionachor. With the 23rd pick. And then I have another tackle, Caleb Lemieux, going to Cleveland at 24. The Chicago Bears, they are weak at corner. I have them drafting Keontae Scott at 25. I have Casey Concepcion. That's how it's pronounced. Because if you're thinking of the great Reds outfielder Dave Concepcion from the 70s, I am going to the Bills at 26. Edge rusher Malachi Lawrence to the San Francisco 49ers. I think the 49ers have a pressing need in the front of their defense. Christian Miller to the Houston Texans at 28. Colton Hood to Kansas City at 29. TJ Parker to Miami at 30. Gabe Jacobs, linebacker, going to the Patriots at 31, and then Chris Johnson, a corner from San Diego State, going to Seattle with pick 32 for me. So obviously there will be trades, but this mock exercise does not have any trades that should be noted on those fronts. So I also we also wanted to look at so what's my call other prospects that I think that'll be available across the way, because this is a fantasy show. We'll be talking a little bit about about these names as we get closer
Right.
to the time. So obviously Jeremiah Love, we all think he's gonna be gone by the top 5. We also have Jadarian Price, who could go in round 1, the backup running back from Notre Dame. He's been good. Actually really good for that matter. On that front, you also have Jonah Coleman, the running back out of Washington. Mike Washington, the running back from Arkansas, who averaged 6.4 yards per carry with the Razorbacks last year. He could be someone that can go either the end of day 2 or day 3. You also have Rashul Faison, South Carolina, Nicholas Singleton out of Penn State. So I think you have some other names. It's other names that could be going in there as well with that. So I do think the wide receiver class, I think, can be pretty strong, because other names we didn't mention, because Jeremy Bernard, Skylar Bell, Chris Brazell with the second, I think, is a really interesting name because he has some physical characteristics that Randy Moss once had, that he just doesn't have the production to make him look like a surefire first round pick at this point. But we will see how that transpires. Malachi Fields, I believe. Malachi Fields, a receiver from Notre Dame, is up there. Chris Bell, Ted Hurst, Zachariah Branch, I believe. Yeah, he went to from Georgia. So you have that. There is a really big cutoff for the tight end, because there's only one big tight end prospect this year. I mean, this tight end class is nowhere near as good as we saw the last couple of years. But there could be some notable names that can go off, like Eli Stowers and Sam Roush and Justin Jolie. So So you have to think of that. But then none of us mentioned Ty Simpson just yet. But I've always believed that the two franchise quarterbacks that I think can be franchise quarterbacks are Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson. So and so towards the end of the first round, this could be very similar to what the Giants did last year, trading back into the first round to draft Jackson Dart. I could see a quarterback needy team like the Arizona Cardinals trade up to select Ty Simpson. So I think that could be something there. Maybe a potential trading partner with Kansas City or New England. So we'll see how that transpires. But you also need to wonder that if you want to go and draft Ty Simpson, so you can get that 5th-year option on him. So that's going to be something to think about as well. So.
Very, very interesting names that you mentioned there. I almost forgot about Ty Simpson. I was going to say, you think he goes down to the bottom of the first or beginning of the second? Because they say his numbers have been kind of seeing him moving down in the draft, maybe to a late first round or an early second round.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of thinking maybe a late first round or early second round. That's pretty much what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is our look for our draft predictions. We do have a little trivia. We don't.
Yeah, actually, I have 2 questions.
Yeah, I have 2 questions.
I was gonna bring one, but I thought it'd be too easy. So.
All right, so you can plead the 5th, and that's that.
Yeah. I'll plead
All
the
right.
5th.
All right, so let's start with my first trivia question.
Oh, you got a multiple choice question. Interesting.
Yeah, but it's like a reverse multiple choice question because as the question says, all the following quarterbacks were taken in the first round of the draft, except which one? Jordan Love, Kenny Pickett, Jalen Hurts, Dwayne Haskins, or Anthony Richardson. Of those 5 quarterbacks, who was not taken in the first round?
I do believe Richardson was taken in the first round, so I'm going to eliminate him.
Right.
Jordan Love, I think, was taken in the first round, so we're going to eliminate him. So
yeah, Jalen Hurts, I feel like, was also.
Hurts was too, so it's either Pickett
or Haskins. Yeah. My first thought was actually Haskins.
I'm actually thinking Kenny Pickett.
Okay. All right, there you go. So we got 2 of the choices covered. Okay. Make it interesting.
So you're saying Haskins, and I'm saying Pickett, right?
Yes.
All right.
So what? So maybe we should do like all the questions, all question everything together now. So or like,
sure,
like that. So all right.
So then what's your second question then?
Obviously it's gonna say the second question is, in the Super Bowl era dating back to 1966, who was the only running back drafted outside the top 100 overall in the draft to make it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Only one drafted outside the top 100.
The top 100. Yeah, I was talking to Flynn about this one before the show, and I was like, "This is a damn good question." I mean, this man, somebody should get a special prize for this one here.
Yeah, you definitely got me on this one.
Wow, going back to '66, Super Bowl era, one Hall of Fame running back drafted outside of the top 100. Oh man, God,
I got nothing.
He's a Hall of Famer. I don't know if he's actually in the Hall of Fame, but the first name that came to my mind was Kurt Warner, Kurt with a C, who was a star running back for the Seattle Seahawks back in the 70s and 80s, I think.
Interesting. Well, I'm definitely stumped. I got nothing. I have absolutely nothing on that. This one.
Yeah, nothing. So,
All right, so I guess I'm next then.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was
Uh,
just very. Mine's kind of basic here. I mean, my original question was actually going to be because as you guys know, yeah, Fernando Mendoza is not attending the draft. My original question was going to be like who is the last number one to not attend the draft, but that happened too recently, so I thought that was too easy. Because I know Trevor Lawrence didn't attend. So this one, but I still think you guys might get this one. My first question is which team holds the record for having the most picks in a single round?
ooh. I'm basically sort of like what happened with the Brooklyn Nets last year.
Yeah,
Because they have
yeah,
picks.
yeah. I mean, I'll give you guys a little hint though. This actually occurred in round one. This is the draft era that we're in right now, the current modern era that we use.
Okay.
This team had actually 4 picks in the first round. That's my first question. And then my second question also involves the current era. Which team has had the most picks overall in a single draft?
Ooh.
overall.
Yeah, it's not the Steelers because that was the era from way back when. Like way back when the Steelers had 30 picks in like a big marathon. I'm not asking about that. It's just the format that we use today, the 7-round format. Which team had the most picks in that format? This one was actually fairly recently, more recent than you may think. My first question goes a little bit further back, but question 2 has happened more recently.
So basically, if I'm thinking when the when the Saints mortgaged the whole draft to take Ricky Williams, that you think it's more recent than that.
Definitely not that recent.
Yeah.
For the second question, which team has had the most draft picks in a particular draft in the modern era? It's definitely not Ricky Williams. It's after that.
Yeah.
But since we got, so I guess now we got to answer Flynn's questions first. Then we'll pivot to mine.
Yeah. So I'm saying with Kenny Pickett and Natalia was saying Dennis Haskins.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Haskins.
All right. So Tim went with Kenny Pickett. So with his answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought for sure Tim was going to get that one.
Oh, I think Natalia may get this one.
Maybe. Let's see.
Wow.
So the correct answer, all the following quarterbacks are below except for Jalen Hurts.
Oh, it was Hurts. Oh, okay. I guess it wasn't too bad. That was the third one we eliminated.
He went in round 2. Jordan Love was taken 26th in 2020. Kenny Pickett was taken 20th in 22. Jalen Hurts was drafted 53rd overall in round 2 in 2020. Dwayne Haskins was drafted 15th overall in 2019. And Anthony Richardson was drafted 4th overall in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So now the second of my questions. In the Super Bowl era dating back to 1966, who was the only running back drafted outside the top 100 in the draft to make it to the Hall of Fame?
Of course, I said Kurt Warner from the Seattle Seahawks, but truthfully, I'm really not sure if he's in the Hall of Fame. He might be. I don't know. I think he might be, but I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Natalia even could come up with an answer on that.
Yeah, so I guess yeah. So I mean, this applies to both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't come up couldn't come up with one. So so the answer we were looking for. So he was drafted in the 6th round out of the University of Georgia in the 1995 NFL draft by the Denver Broncos. Terrell Davis.
Okay. Interesting.
Terrell Davis. Wow. He ended up winning the Super Bowl. He
Yeah.
was a darn good running back as well.
Yeah, I mean, and there were two other running backs that were drafted, that were not first round picks in this era that made it to the Hall of Fame. Curtis Martin for the Patriots in '95,
Wow.
and Thurman Thomas for the Bills back in '88.
Thurman Thomas from Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean,
Interesting there.
and Barry Sanders was drafted the following year from Oklahoma State.
Right? So,
All right.
now let's go back to Natalia's
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. I guess I talked a little quickly. Yeah, neither one of you gave a formal answer yet, so we'll go back to my first one. Yeah. So this team holds the record for having the most picks in a single round, which happened to be the first round. This team had 4 number 1 picks. Who was that team?
4 first
Oh,
round.
sorry. 4. Yeah, 4 picks. Sorry, 4 picks in the first round. That's what I meant to say. Not 4 number 1 picks. I misspoke.
Wow. I've heard this fact, but I don't remember anything else about it. So I'm just gonna throw a wild guess and say the San Francisco 49ers.
All right, you're going to take the 49ers. All right. What do you say, Tim?
I'm going to take. I'm going to take a guess and say New England Patriots.
All right. All right, let's start with Flynn. Flynn says the 49ers. All right. And as far as Tim goes, Tim said the New England Patriots. Oddly enough, Tim, you got the new part correct, but not the rest of it. You got the new right. You had the new right.
Give me the X. Give me the X.
Believe it or not, Tim, you actually had the right division.
The Jets?
It was the Jets.
New York friggin' Jets.
Of course, it's got to be the Jets.
It was the year 2000.
Huh.
Yeah, evidently, they had the number 18. They kept that already. In that year, they drafted Chad Pennington, and one of them they had 2 picks. They got 2 more. Round 1 also picked 27. Sorry. Evidently, they did 1 trade down and 2 trade ups. They traded up with to get number 12, where they got Sean Ellis, and they traded up again to get John Abraham, the linebacker, and traded down to get Anthony Beck from Tampa. Both of them involved Tampa. Yes, they did 1 trade up with Tampa and 1 trade down with Tampa.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So Tim, very close. You had the new right and the right division, just the wrong team.
Wrong team.
All right, but let's see if you guys can redeem yourselves with this one. This one was actually fairly recently. I'm not going to give you the year yet, but a few years ago, this team had 15 picks in a single draft, which was the record. Which team was that?
Well,
this is the era that we're using right now. I'm not talking about the 70s Pittsburgh Steelers where they had 30. I'm not doing that. The current era that we're using right now.
Could it be? A couple of thoughts. I'm thinking the Cleveland Browns because like they always the drafting, but
yeah.
But part of me thinks that with the picks they got back from for the Deshaun Watson trade, so could it be the Houston Texans?
The Houston Texans. That's a pretty good guess right there. Let's see here. Most picks in a single draft weekend. Let's see. I'm just going to throw out a guess. I'm going to say Washington Commanders.
Okay. Washington Commanders. I'll start with Tim. It was not the Commanders.
Nope. Didn't think so.
Yeah. And oddly enough, Flynn, you were very close. I think in that year you're thinking of, the Browns had 14 picks, but not the record. That record is held by the 2020 Minnesota Vikings, where they had 15.
Minnesota Vikings.
The class with Justin Jefferson.
Nice.
So very, very close, Flynn. You were one off.
Ooh, yeah, close.
I think it was like 3 years off. I think, because I thought the year they drafted C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson, but
no, I'll talk about the number of picks, not the year. There was a year where the Browns had 14.
I was saying like the Browns were a thought, but that wasn't my answer. So I was 3 years off.
Oh, gotcha.
Right.
Okay, I guess it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Those are very, very challenging.
Because I another original question I was going to come up with was, like how the Giants had 2 number 1 picks in the top 10. I was going to say, who was the most recent team that did that? But I thought that was too easy also. The Giants also did that again a few years back.
Yeah, but then the Texans go 2 and 3 when they got C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson.
Oh, right. See, I thought that was too easy to remember, so that's kind of why I went with these.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, very interesting questions right there, boy. Boggled my mind. I know it definitely did that. So I guess with that, we will go ahead and bring this edition to a close of a Fantasy Football Fever here. We want to remind you, we will be back next Tuesday night. We'll bring it, and I updated the date for us. It's going to be next Tuesday night, April 28th. Talk about the big winners, the big losers, the big movers, and the big shakers from the draft. We'll give our opinions, our reactions next Tuesday night. And of course, afterwards, our next show afterwards will probably be the night of the NFL schedule release. So be looking forward to that. And sometime this week, I want to try to fix up a schedule for the rest of our shows during the off season, including our usual 4-week series on division previews, our fantasy rankings.
Still have our coach on the hot seat. We still have that.
Coach is on the hot seat. 5 in, 5 out.
Yep.
Figure out this. So we're going to figure all this out for you. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and wrap this show up. But don't forget to listen to Hooked on Sports. Well, you can listen to them on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, anywhere you get your podcasts. Of course, you can also watch him on his YouTube channel, John Flynn 1589. And of course, we'll be, like I said, we'll be back next Tuesday night. To wrap up our reactions to the NFL draft. So less than 24 hours away. It's almost here, guys. Pittsburgh's going to be rocking. And I may even do a reaction video tomorrow. I may do something like that. So y'all check it out. Y'all keep it tuned to my channel. Y'all be sure to subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to Mr. Flynn's channel. And I guess that's it. So we'll go ahead and wrap things up. That's Sean Flynn. That's Sean Natale. I'm Tim McClellan. Thanks for watching this, everybody. Enjoy the draft weekend.
Yep, so, 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.
That's right. ESPN, ABC, NFL Network, I think. So it's covering all that. Thanks for watching, everybody. God bless you all. And as always, be a good sport. We'll see you later.